Welcome back to another episode of Carnage Unleashed. As always, you got your boy Kev and Clayton, and today we got special guest Amin L. How you doing
Peace and
tonight?
love. I'm great. How about yourself?
Doing awesome, doing awesome. How you guys doing?
I'm excited. Thank you, Amin, for hanging out with us. Clayton, how about you doing, man?
All's good up in Bowling Green, man. I got 4 exams this week, but we're taking a break from that to spend some time with the boys and talk some combat sports. So always a welcome break for sure.
Right.
Nice. So Amin, how has this fight camp been for you?
It's been great, man. It's been a good long camp for me. A lot of times I get a lot of short notice fights, and so I don't get a long camp, But this one was a good camp. I had probably about a 7-week camp, which gives me ample time to not only get myself in shape, but tune up on some of my skills and get my body together. I was a little out of shape. I took on a real estate project last year and kind of kept me out of the gym for a little bit, so I had a few extra pounds to cut. But it was a good camp, man, and I learned a lot, and it was kind of like a test for myself. Make sure I can do it.
Yeah, you mentioned that you had a lot of weight to lose this one, so.
Yes, I had to lose 30 pounds for this fight, and which is a lot. It's a lot more than what I usually have to lose. But with that real estate project, I was eating a lot of gas station food and tacos and burgers and stuff.
Yep.
If you're not in the gym, that weight picks up fat. It comes on you fast, and next thing you know, you're up there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a little bit getting it down, and I would say honestly, the first 15 pounds were the hardest. It was like, man, this weight's not going anywhere. Like, what do I got to do? Like, it was making me nervous. Like, man, can I still do this? But I just stayed persistent, and it started to come down, and now I'm really close to weight. I'm kind of coasting, eating some guacamole right now, so I'm
there we go.
I'm okay on the weight right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you took this fight, you said you got 7 weeks notice. That for your experience, having that longer camp, does that work with you a lot better than having a short notice fight?
Oh,
especially now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes, definitely. I have more time to get in shape. I have more time to spar, sharpen my skills. A lot of times when you have those short camps, you might find some holes in your game, but because you have such a short camp, you don't have time to fill all of them. You have to kind of focus on the ones that are most important and then try to fix those. With this camp, we were able to kind of adjust a lot of different things. Had a lot of sparring, and the hard sparring is one of the biggest things for me, for myself. That helps me get my gas together, and it helps me build the mental toughness. My coach, a lot of times he'll make us so I'm fighting a 4-round fight. He'll make us spar 6 rounds, but he doesn't give us any break in between rounds. So by the time you get to that 6th round, I'm like dying.
Yeah.
And he'll throw a new guy in there just to mess with me. Oh, you tired? Here goes a fresh guy. Beat him up. And now I try to make it, you know what I mean? But that's it's to work on your gas and to work on you not panicking and your mental toughness, not breaking down. So I had a few of those, and I got my butt kicked, but I need that to help prepare me for the fight,
Yeah, those kind of moments, if you're training this hard, it's not going to be that hard in the actual fight. So you can be in that moment, have that experience like, hey, I got through this in camp. This match is going, I know how to navigate this situation.
Exactly. It's exactly that. And putting myself in that situation multiple times. When I have a short camp, I might be in that situation maybe 2 or 3 times. And that sometimes it's not enough. I feel like I need more. I want more, and it helps with the mental confidence, honestly. And so like by the end of this camp, granted, my last spar was super hard, but my gas was still up, and I found that mental fortitude to keep pushing through. And after the sparring, it was like, yeah, I'm ready.
That can
That's
make a
awesome.
big difference. I mean, you have sat with Clayton and I a few times now. You've taught at least me a lot about the sport. So one of the things, just to kind of play towards what you're speaking on, just having that little extra endurance in that last round. So many times in these fights we see, I mean, how many times am I playing my go-to line of, oh, I'm glad they don't pay me to officiate this, to judge this, and it's a razor thin fight going to that last round. Sometimes it could just be about who's got enough energy to make those adjustments live. It's one thing to hear it being said, it's another thing to be able to apply it. And so much of that is what's left in your reserve tank. So I think that's a very smart way that you're approaching it. Now, let me ask you, has there been anything about sitting at that desk that has helped you to get preparation, or is that just you've got it all locked in already?
Just that last little bit that I just was talking about, that because sometimes it comes down to that last round and who wants it more. We're both dead tired, and sometimes seeing it and seeing the guys gassing out and seeing who pushes through, it's a reminder of what it takes to do this. And it's been a while since I fought. I haven't fought in probably about 18 months. So sometimes you forget. And I definitely did. Like once camp started, it's like, oh, yeah, this is what this is. I forgot. So you got to dig down and you got to go in your bag. And it's mental, not breaking down mentally. I know I'm tired. Your mind tells your body that it's tired. And your spirit has to tell your mind, like, no, we can keep going, because the body can keep going. And it's really a fight over the mind. The spirit and the body is fighting for the mind. And the body always tells the mind, shit, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. But your spirit has to push you through. No, we got this. We can keep going. And it's that. And I try to keep that mentality and keep that in mind while I'm training and while I'm sparring. So when it gets down to that point, I can pull that monster back up out of me. Like, nah, we're going to keep going, keep digging, and keep fighting.
Got a shout out from Perry Alden in the chat before
Perry, peace and love.
Hey, love that. Also, shout out to the GOAT over there from Bite Size Sports. I want to shout out everyone in the comments. If you're watching, fire away. If you've got a question for Amin, we're happy to share that and put that up on screen and get your questions asked. So we thank you all who have tuned in so far. Fire away with those questions. And back to you, Wade and Clayton.
Yeah, I want to shoot over to Clayton. You got any questions?
I do. So, Amin, I see videos of you, coaching up the guys over at Demolition, helping them work on their boxing skills. But I believe you also train in Toledo. Is that correct?
Yeah. So when I'm getting ready myself, I need a coach too. So, I would say I'm probably like the main stand-up coach or boxing coach at Demolition. But when and shout out to Demolition, man, I love those guys. That's my team too. Those guys help me get ready. So my night practice is usually with Demolition, but my morning practice, I go to Soul City Boxing Gym in Toledo. And shout out to Soul City. We just had some young guys. We had 4 young guys make it to nationals for the Silver Gloves. And we just had one of the young guys, Marlon. I forget Marlon's name. I'm sorry. But he did win. He actually won his division in the Silver Gloves. So he's a national champion. So we got a national champion in the Silver Gloves from out of our boxing gym.
Wow. Congratulations.
Shout out to them. Yeah, that's a testament to our coaching. And that's why I go up there, because we've got world-class fighters. One of our guys, Charles Conwell, he's the #1 WBO contender in the world right now. He's 17-0. We've produced 2 Olympians for the last 2 Olympics out of that gym, which is kind of unheard of. For each the 2016 Olympics, Charles Conwell went, and then in the 2020 Olympics, O'Shea Jones, she went. She actually won the bronze. So our gym, that boxing gym, is tough, man. It's tough, and that's why I go up there. They've got really good training. They've been doing it for a while. The tactics, just it's like no other boxing gym that I've been to, and that's why I'm there.
Iron sharpens iron.
Do you find it difficult to manage like 2 different gyms in 2 different cities? Because for those of you who don't know, Toledo's like 45-ish minutes to an hour away from Findlay, where Demolition's at. So how do you manage traveling like that?
It's rough. It's rough, man. What my days actually look like, I'll get up in the morning and I'll go run on my own. And then I'll drive up to Soul City. It's about a 50-minute drive. Drive up there. I'll train from 10 to 12. So I'll run from 6 to 7. Come home, drink, eat, take my daughter to school. Then I'll drive up there, practice from 10 to 12. I'll drive back home, eat, rehydrate, take a nap, and then I'll go to practice in Finley. Or I'll go, or we'll have it in Fostoria. So it's still another 25, 30-minute drive from me.
Yep.
But night practice too, But the one thing, during camp I did on Mondays, which today, except not today because it's fight week, but I teach a cardio kickboxing class in Fostoria. And that kind of helps my cardio for on Mondays. So I'll do that. And then after that class, I'll go to the local Y and hit the bag. So Monday is kind of like a freestyle day, but I still go to Soul City in the morning, every morning.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. Probably about 5 hours of training a day. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, but you the best, man. If you want to be the best, and watching our guys who like Charles, he's the #1 contender. And that's how he trains. And that's how our coach trains those guys. So it's if I want to compete at that level, I've got to train like guys at that level, so got to put the work in.
What's your recovery secret then? If you're practicing for 5 hours a day, there's got to be some wear and tear that comes with that, right?
Oh my goodness. I rest on the weekend. Some of the younger guys, they might still go run and stuff like that. I stay disciplined during the week so I don't have to. Some of the guys, they'll run on the weekends because they want to eat. They want to eat good on the weekends. But I'm like, man, I want to rest more than anything. So I'll eat this little meal so I can lay in the bed with my feet up on the weekend. But,
that's fair trade.
The biggest thing for me, which I finally started doing it last week, is ice bathing. And I have been dreading that my whole camp. I've taken an ice bath before, but the first 2 minutes suck, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's mental. It's really mental. And I feel like if I can get past this ice bath, I want to fight. I want to fight.
I wanted to start doing some ice baths, but I remember back in high school, I broke my foot and I just did an ankle bath, and it was long enough for me.
Traumatized still from high school. That's it's that, man. It's that rough, man. But after you do it, especially after the first time, your body gets accustomed to it. You really about controlling your breathing. When you first get in there, you submerge your body, you can't breathe. And you have to really try to control that. But once you get that under control, then your body kind of relaxes in it. And it's kind of like the best thing for your body, though. When I'm done and I get out, my aches and pains are gone. It's like, man, I've got to do this. I've got to face this in order to get my body back, because you want your body to recover.
Yeah, it's been a top craze just recently in this past year or so. People are really crazing about it, but rightfully so. It's such a good recovery tool. It's better for you to wake up than coffee is in the morning. You just go in and you put 3 minutes in, and your endorphins are just higher for longer. Your inflammation goes down. It's a really good recovery tool.
Yes, not only for recovery too, for just to start your day, as you were saying, like endorphins. So I had a guy break it down to me, certain things that we do or activities that shoot our endorphins up. They'll shoot them up really high and then they'll crash down super fast, right? Whether it's sugar, whether it's smoking, whatever it is. The ice bath, what it does is shoot it up and then it stays up there. So that's why you get that kind of euphoric feeling afterwards, and it lasts for most of the day because that ice bath, it shoots those endorphins up and it just stays up there. And it stays there. And I feel that. Getting a violent finish. Yes, I'm getting that violent finish, baby.
That's
God
right.
Guy Gates, peace of love. I love my
shout out to Gates.
Yes,
love my guys, man. All of them. They push me. Shout out to Gates too, man. I had a sparring session and I was struggling, man. I was just tired, and he was pushing me. I'm usually pushing him, and he like, come on, let's go, bro, let's go. he on my butt pushing me. So shout out to Gates, man.
Yeah, talk about iron sharpens iron. That's a good sparring partner right there.
Yep, and he's a tall guy. I'm fighting a guy that's 6 foot. He's not a Gates is like 6'3", though, 6'3", 6'4". So he actually helped me with this camp too, just trying to figure out a taller guy. So yeah, yep, love my guys.
We've got some questions piling in too from the chat, so keep those coming, guys. So we'll get this first one out to you. Amin, it's from Arctic Wolf. Coming off 18 months not fighting, what were the top 3 things you really had to work on in order to get back in the swing of things?
Ooh, cutting the weight down, getting my endurance up, my footwork and timing. Really, that footwork and timing was super big. I feel like I'm just really getting that back, like the footwork part and the distancing, like. And it's crazy. I teach it to my guys, and I'm always telling my guys the proper things to do. But once I started training, my coach was seeing it in me, like, yo, the stuff you telling your guys, that's what you need to work too, because you're losing it right now, So it was a reality check for me. That's why I'm glad I had such a long camp. It helped me tighten up on those skills, man, and tighten up on some of the things that I was lacking from just not being in practice. Yeah.
Love that. Thank you again, Arctic Wolf, for the question. We got another one from Bite Size Vikes. Shout out to John. He wants to know, Amin, what's the farthest you've had to travel for a fight so far?
For a fight, a lot of times they'll fly you out. When you fighting for some of these promotional companies, they'll fly you out. Was it the last fight? My last fight I actually fought on Showtime for my last fight. Nice. And it was in Minnesota. So from Ohio.
Oh, he's going to love that answer. Vikings guy.
Minnesota. I think Minnesota. I fought in Minnesota, and the other one I would say was South Carolina. So either that one or the South Carolina fight probably was the furthest. A lot of the other ones are like Midwest. I fought in Indiana, Columbus, PA. A lot of them are close to the state.
Yeah, a lot of 2 to 3 hour drives, I bet. At least I know that's my gig these days.
Yeah,
lots of 2.5 hour drives.
Yeah, I prefer the ones that are further away though, because I'd rather hop on a plane.
Yeah,
in that car. Yeah. And they house you. They put you up. You get to see a new city. I like being flown out for real.
Oh man, yeah, especially when it's a late night. There's something that's not great about being only 2 hours away when the show ends at 12:30. You're like, oh, I can technically get home. I guess I'm driving home.
Yeah, that part. He says, do I remember what city? It was in Minneapolis. And
okay.
Yeah, Minneapolis, beautiful city, man. This was in 22, in the middle of July of 22. But yeah, it was really nice outside. So the city was beautiful. They put me up in a beautiful hotel too. That whole experience was super nice. I got my hair cut out there and learned a little bit about the George Floyd situation and just the people, the residents who were there when the rioting and stuff was going on and everything. So it was kind of good to kind of get their perspective. I learned a little bit about the city and about that situation. So I enjoyed that fight. Unfortunately, I lost though. It was a tough fight. Like I was talking about short notice fights, 10-day notice, honestly. 10-day notice for that fight. Yeah, man. It was a big opportunity, but on those fights, it's kind of like the setup. It's a 10-day notice. I'm fighting a heavier fight. I was fighting at like 54. I'm really a 147, maybe even 140. The guy was super sharp too, man, just taller. I put up a good fight, but that last round, I was running out of gas, no gas. Because, 10 days to get ready for a fight is not a lot of time,
Hard to build that up. Yeah, Wade can vouch for this. I stress out if I find out I have to call a fight on 10 days notice.
Imagine having to get in there.
Yeah, it's got to be stressful.
For sure.
Bite Size Vikes has some nice things to say about Minneapolis here as well. And then we've got another question from Gates, the sniper cook. He says, what next after this win? Bare knuckle? And then a couple of
possibly bare knuckle. This fight, like again, I said something. It was kind of personal for myself. I've always told myself I would have 10 professional fights at least, and I've got 9. This will be my 10th professional fight. So I'm not sure if I will close that chapter of my life and hang the gloves up. My wife would say yeah. But I feel good, man. I feel good. God willing, I get a great stop it, a great win, maybe possibly the knockout.
That violent finish,
for this fight. And we'll just see what's on the table. If the right opportunity presents itself, I may jump into BKFC. I may jump into another boxing match. Who knows? Maybe even MMA.
Hey, okay.
Yes, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I did fight MMA. I was 7-2 as an amateur. I was actually the number 1 amateur in Ohio, and that's how I got into boxing.
Okay.
Yep.
When was that? Was that like?
My last MMA fight was 2016, I think, or 17.
Okay.
Yep, that. And after that, that's when I started boxing. I've been boxing since then. So I didn't come up just straight boxing. I actually came up with MMA. MMA is a real fight.
That's what Gate was looking for.
Amin, what I'm hearing is that you need to jump into one of Jorge Masvidal's bare knuckle MMA cards. That seems like the best of both worlds to me. Just saying, just throwing that out there.
They haven't been sanctioned, but I've had a few of those already. So wouldn't be my first rodeo,
You'd be getting paid this time, though. That's the difference.
Yeah, right. That part. I paid for those other ones. Kind of like fly by night.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. We got another one from the chat, guys. Thank you so much to the active chat tonight. This one's from Zach. You know him. Amin, I know you've traveled around to train in different places. What gyms outside of the 2 home gyms that you've mentioned have been some of your favorite to work with?
Oh, yes. I do like to cross train. I've been a lot of places. Man, honestly, I went to Wanderlei Silva's gym in Vegas, and I trained out there for a month. I actually got an MMA fight out there, and that experience was amazing, man. Just the love I got there, the people I met there. I got to train with Khalil Roundtree. He was an amateur at the time, and he's actually in the UFC now. I got to train with him. I just remember him and his brother taking me to his mom's house and having her cook dinner for me. Like the guys I met there and the experience I had there just was great, man. That was a really great gym. And they actually found me a fight. I was there to train. I stayed in his fighter house. And the last week, he was like, man, maybe it was like the last week that I was going to be there. He was like, we got a fight Saturday. He said, if I can slide you in this card, you think you can make 55? I probably was like 70 at the time. I said, yep, if you can get me on the card, yep. And he actually got me on the card. It was at the Hard Rock Cafe, and I got a first round knockout in Vegas.
Hey, that's
awesome.
MMA too. It's on YouTube too. Yep. First round
that one up.
Man. It was a really tall guy. I hit him with 2 left hands. He fell asleep in his lap, Indian style. Beautiful, man. But that gym was awesome, man. That was a great gym. Shout out to Wanderlei Silva and that camp out there.
That's a shout out to you. Experience.
Yes, love, Brandon. What's happening?
So going back to the very beginning. So what was it that got you into combat sports?
Actually, a friend did. He was training for fighting. He's getting ready for a fight, and him and I had a lot of scuffles in the streets, and I had good hands, so he asked me to come to the gym to help him get ready for a fight. So I started training up there, and the coach was like, man, you can fight too. You want to take a fight? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll take one, man. And I knocked my guy out in 18 seconds.
Woo.
And after, matter of fact, that might be on my IG too, but I know it's on YouTube. But I knocked him out in 18 seconds, and after that, it was like, maybe I might be good at this. Maybe I should stick with this. And after that, I just started training for MMA, and that's how I got into combat. This was in, you guys ready for this? 2008.
Whoo.
I was in kindergarten, Amin.
Yeah. I was gonna say, wait till Clayton gets you. Yeah, he gets me with those every once in a while.
Yeah,
you know,
2008. And wow. Yep.
Don't make any 90s jokes around Clayton, all right?
Yeah, right? Was he born in the 90s?
No, I was born in 2003.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I was in college.
I turned 21 in 2 months.
Ooh, good for you, man. Yes. That I remember my first beer.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what that's going to be like.
Yeah. Look forward to, Clayton.
There you go. If I'm around, let me know. I'll buy you one.
Hey, sounds good. I'll be at Grumpy Dave's.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, that's my spot too. Yes, I got you. Comedy night.
That's awesome.
Love it.
So, Amin, what made you want to transition from MMA to boxing? Like you talked about, you were 7-2, Ohio's Amateur Fighter of the Year. Why switch to boxing?
Well, a lot of MMA guys kind of jump into boxing just to kind of tune up, get ready for MMA fights. And it was that situation. Like I said, another short notice. It was a 4-day notice, but it was at the Arnold Classic. It was at the Arnold Classic. They were paying $1,000. And if you know anything about MMA, those guys usually don't get that for their first fight. You know, they put me up for the whole weekend. I had all access to the Arnold Classic. And it was like, man, why not? Yeah, it's a four rounder. You know, it's like a sparring session. I'll take it. So I took it, and I lost to a close decision. And the promoter approached me, was like, man, you can really box. He said, you want to take another one? I'm like, y'all still paying? He said, yeah. He said, we're paying more. And I said, well, yeah, this financially, it was the better move. You know, at the time, I started MMA, and then I took a break for a while. Had a situation, and I had to sit down for like 4 years. So I took 4 years out of my fighting. So when I got back into fighting, I was 33, maybe 32, 33. So I had an MMA fight at 33. That gave me that #1 ranking. And then that's how I got approached with the Arnold Classic fight. So I took that one, and that was my first professional fight. So I never really had any amateur boxing matches either. Like, I went straight from MMA. I went from amateur MMA to pro boxing. But at the time I was, 33 years old, going on 34. So for me, it was more financial decision. They're paying more money. I can make more money doing boxing. Let me go ahead and jump into boxing. I just never wanted to I didn't want to give up on my fighting, but it was the smarter move financially. So let me go ahead and do this boxing thing. And so I stuck with boxing. Yep.
Hard to beat that, man. That's a pretty good deal. Those Arnold, especially the Arnold Classic. What an experience for your first time.
Right,
boxing.
man. It was like,
I can see how that wins you over. You're like, I get used to this.
Win, lose, or draw too. Like, especially where my mind was at for MMA. I was on the verge of going pro for MMA. And it was like, all right, this is like a tune-up fight, win, lose, or draw. I get to go to the Arnold and fight at the Arnold Classic. I get to all access to everything. They put us up in a beautiful room. Like, it was like, yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
That is great. Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I'd probably made the switch too.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing though. You'd be able to just like, oh yeah, pro boxer, no amateur fights in boxing before that. That is a very unique situation that you've got there. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was, man, great experience, man. I would never take it back. I'd never take it back. I do think about MMA sometime, like, man, what could I have done there? Because I was good at MMA too, The boxing actually makes me think about MMA because the boxing angles and footwork that I learned in boxing, the way it translates to MMA, now when I hit that corner, it's so much more there. If you try to run out, I can kick you. I can get over to that side and take a double leg. Like, it opened up my MMA game. You know, when I'm at Demolition sometime, I might mess around with the guys and I just can see it. I can see the different openings from my footwork in boxing, how it can open up my MMA stand-up. You know, now I would have to work on the ground a lot. I would need a lot of groundwork, but I miss the ground. So,
I was just about to ask that. I was like, do you miss the ground though? Or are you just happy just being a stand-up guy all the time?
It's like even in MMA, like I was a stand-up fighter. Like my hands, I've always had naturally good hands. So everybody would try to take me down. I wasn't like a technician down there, didn't have crazy submissions or anything, but I was good at defending anything and getting back up. Like it was hard to get me down. I was kind of like a Chuck Liddell, sprawl and brawl.
Sprawl and brawl, yeah.
Sprawl and brawl, yeah. Even if you get me down there, if you try to do something, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to get up. Like I'm just explosive, you know what I mean? So I was good at finding my way back to my feet and scrapping. Before I left MMA, I was at the point of really starting to get the submission, learning different submissions and things like that. And when I'm rolling with the guys, sometimes it's like, damn, like, man, I miss this though, because MMA is a fight. Like boxing is the sweet science, and not to take anything away from my boxers or anything, but MMA that's a fight. That's a real fight. Like it's everything, you know what I mean? And that's how I started talking about those bare knuckle MMA fights. That's kind of how I started, you know. So that's my first love, man. Is a real scrap, you know. And so sometimes I see the guys in the gym sizing me up after I'm popping them on boxing, like, yeah, I might take you down though and do something. You know
I mean, like you don't even know.
On my ground game still sometimes, just in case, you know.
You never know, someone's gonna sneak a double leg on you.
Honestly, we have some guys, man. I'll give it to you. Shout out to my guy Ferreras Golden. That's my brother, and I love him.
Shout out to Ferreras, yeah.
Shout out to Ferreras. But if I'm touching him too much, he might shoot a double leg, take me down, and now we in a grappling match. Like he's done it more than once to me. You know what I mean? That and I don't stop. I'm like, all right, we here. Let's go. It's time to work, man. And he'll keep working, man. I love him for that, man. That's my guy. Shout out to Ferreras, man.
Oh yeah, I got some sparring stories with Ferreras too.
You know, then you know.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Boy, got some heavy hands, man.
Yes.
It is always fun when you watch, because I mean, you talked about that being kind of part of how you got to boxing as a tune-up, right? So it's funny when we call those fights, we get those amateur boxing matches, and it's like, oh, that's an MMA guy. We've called some of those MMA fights before, and every once in a while you see it on the undercard. You know, somebody the clinch, it kind of looks like they were shooting. You know, you see a guy, oh, he had a Kimura locked
like
in there.
Like he might touch that leg down there or something. Yeah. So you know what I do to my MMA guys sometimes when we're in it, like we might be doing just boxing, but I'll squat down and I'll smack their leg. I'll smack their knee like I'm going for a shot, and they'll drop that hand, and I'll hit them with a straight up top. Yeah, because their natural reaction is to drop their hands for the shot. Yep. Oh, he's coming to shoot. Just kidding. Yep.
As he points at him, gotcha.
Yep, just like that.
Bite Size Mike says it's blast doubles all day in Minnesota fights. That's going for the takedown, sounds like.
So going into this weekend, you're the co-main event. What do you want to take out of this fight?
A W. That's it. Just a W. Go out here, win this fight. Get this violent finish.
There we go.
Violent finish. Hurt this guy, man. Just break him down. Not I want to work on my craft. I want to methodically break him down. You know, just don't go out there brawling. You know, he's a taller guy. You know, I take everybody like they Bruce Lee. You know, this guy is the best of the best. You know, that's how my mind says. So I go in there and move as such. You know, as the fight continue, you know, I'm basically just giving him a little respect, not too much, you know, depending on how the fight is. You know, I'm going to still go in there and do my thing, but I'm going to just go in there and break him down, work on what me and my coaches have been working on, and just break him down. And if he can withstand the storm, it'll go to the decision. But God willing, I'll break him down enough to put him out.
Yes.
Put him out.
With that violent finish.
Yes.
I'm excited. Listen, Wade, since I've got one of my bosses here, I'm just going to go ahead and say, I'm supposed to be a neutral third party. I'm supposed to be a professional on Saturdays. So Clayton, you're up for the co-main because I'm not going to, I'll be like, no, Amin, let's go. I'm just, every time it's going to be, hey, Clayton, what does Amin need to do here to win? No.
Right.
So Amin,
I'm actually going to defer to whoever we bring in as the third man. So.
We're just going to bring, whoever's taking your spot for the day, Amin, we're just going to make them do all the work for your fight.
There we go.
Next thing you know, they'll be like, excuse me, sir, can you remove the bald gentleman from that corner? They don't need an extra coach over there.
Right. Right. I'm excited for it though, man. I'm just excited just to get back in there. Camp was rough for me, and there were times I'm like, man, can I get this weight off? Can I still do this? It was definitely early on in camp I had those thoughts, but it was that, and so it was really proving something to myself, and finishing at least the word that I kept to myself. You always got to keep your word, not only to everybody else, but most importantly to yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I said, I'm going to have 10 fights. So I'm pushing to make this fight happen. And now I'm here, and I'm confident that not only am I going to make this fight happen, but I'm going to go out here and dominate in this fight. Go out here and dominate.
That's awesome. Yeah. It seems like you started at a point you wanted to prove it to yourself because you told yourself 10 fights, and you had so much growth in these 7 weeks up to this fight. Mm-hmm. And now you've built so much confidence. You believe in yourself now. And I mean, I believe in you. I've seen your footwork. I've seen your hands. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight for your opponent.
Yes. He better come with his A game, because if not, he's going to sleep fast. He better come with his A game. And I'm expecting him to come with his A game. I'm expecting it to be a good fight. I don't expect him to lay down or anything like that. It's gonna be a fight, but he better bring his A game, and he better be tough, because if not, he gonna fold fast. That.
So I gotta ask for the people. Everybody's thinking about it. I gotta ask, what is your official prediction for Saturday night?
Oh, official prediction?
Prediction.
Straight left wash.
Whoo.
There we go.
Straight left. Left hand gonna put him down. That's my prediction. Okay. That's my prediction. That left hand is gonna put him down. That if it doesn't put him down, it's gonna put him there, and the right hook is gonna clean him up to put him out.
Love that. Yeah. Andrew Smith, what's up? Shout out to Andrew. So the Amin's been putting in the work. I'm ready for this one. We are all ready. I tell you what.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to put in PTO for the rest of the week so we can just hustle up and get to Saturday.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm ready too, because I'm ready for a steak.
Right. Oh, that's right.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, so I got to go earn that steak. So I got to go out there and put that work in, get this W. And then I'm going to get me a steak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a specific pre-fight meal you go to? Anything day of?
Yes. Fish. You are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
And if I eat that steak, I'm going to be like a cow. Chickens are kind of fast, but not as smart. You want to be like Bruce Lee, like water. So I eat fish, Try to stay light. And, some guys, they make weight and they'll go and just eat some trash. It's fuel. Mm-hmm. What fuel are you gonna put in your body? You gonna put unleaded, or you gonna put that premium in?
Right.
So I still try to keep the premium in my gas tank until after the fight. Then I can celebrate and relax. Just because I weighed in and I made weight, that don't mean that part of it is. I'm still in camp. The fight is still, it's still that. I'm not.
You're not gonna get that Baconator from.
No. No, I still stay disciplined on the diet. I still eat clean. I might eat a lot, but it's still all good. It's all good stuff.
Yeah.
All good stuff. And usually by that time, your stomach is so small you can't gorge yourself anyway.
And that's a good point. And Bite Size Vikes, he's, we should have had him on the panel. He's asking the really important stuff here. He said, most important question of the night: how do you order that steak? You a medium rare guy, Amin?
There's one answer.
No. I can eat my steak anywhere from medium to well done, and everything in between. I'll order it medium. If it comes out medium well, I don't complain. I'll still eat it.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
If it's burnt, if it's a ribeye, I'll still eat it because I like my ribeyes burnt like that. Sometimes that crunchy part of the fat is like, that. Most so-called African American homes, they want it well done, so I grew up eating on steaks. Once I got a little older, I had a few women turn me on to eating the steaks medium. Like, man, you eat that steak well done? That's leather. Why don't you try it like this? And broadened my horizons a little bit. And, so I can eat the medium. There's definitely a little more flavor in it. But I grew up eating them steaks well done, so I can eat them out from medium to well.
I see. I'm in the middle. I'm like a medium rare to medium well is my sort of range. My grandpa was the kind of guy, he'd joke to the waitress like, I should be able to hear you slaughtering it back there kind of deal. Like he wanted it that rare. He's like, as soon as that thing changes color, I want you to flip it over. I'm just like, I don't know about all that, Grandpa. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I do know people like that. I worked in restaurants for years in hospitality and service. Some people want it like, flip it over twice and bring it out to me.
Yeah.
That's great. I don't want it bleeding. So like, no. I want it like where it's still juicy a little bit, but not the blood.
Still moving. Yep.
Still moving.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my God. That is great.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight. Anybody got any last questions? Or
the baby's in the next room screaming and banging on the door. My apologies if you did.
No, you're good.
You're awesome.
Yeah, I got to go out there and go be dad for a second. My mom was supposed to take him out of here. That's why I came down.
All right. Well, where can everybody find you? Any last words for the people?
Yes, y'all can find me on Instagram, Straight Left Wash. You can find me on Facebook at Amin L. And if you're in the Findlay area, I'm always at Demolition. Come holler at us. We got a free kids class in Fostoria at Venue 18 at 5 o'clock on Tuesdays. If you got any little kids, bring them up. Free boxing class for them we run.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. Hey, I got a different question for you before we wrap up. Are Clayton and I going to get to see you again so you can teach me a few more things about the fight game on another Carnage Media pay-per-view? I know. Yes. I understand you had bigger fish to fry to start this year, but I'm hoping we get some more time with you later.
For sure. After this fight, yes, I definitely would love to join you guys on some of these cards. They got some great, awesome cards coming up. I've seen a little preview of you guys' schedules. So, God willing, I can be right next to you guys commentating some of these shows.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
And we've been passing on that shoe knowledge too. All right. Everybody else has been coming. We've been like, listen, hang on. We got to tell you about the shoe game. So your legacy lives on. We've been keeping your seat warm.
Question. Have you noticed that in any of these other fights?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. It tracks
100%.
Like, there is a method to this science for sure.
I'm telling you that. See, I'm glad I can teach you guys that one.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, you have a lovely night. I'm looking forward to this weekend watching you fight. Hey, do your thing.
Thank you, fellas. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to put on a great show for you Saturday, man. I'll see you guys Saturday.
Absolutely.
We know it. Thanks again, Amin. We'll see you this weekend.
No doubt. Peace and love.
Saturday.
Peace and
see
love.
See you, Amin.
Yep.
Love it.
What a guy.
Yep.
Love that. Shout out. Follow him, guys. Actually, I'm doing it right now. Left hand washed, right?
Straight left.
Straight left. There we go. Straight left washed on Instagram. Getting it. Find him on Facebook too. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, has been fantastic calling fights. I can't wait to see him fight and just see all those things I've heard him talk about and stuff, just to see it applied in the ring. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. It's not the only fight I'm looking forward to on this card, though, boys. I know I gave you two a sneak peek of my favorite undercard fight so far in our Discord, so I'm going to keep that one close to my inside my vest for now, but I know we got some other fights on this card that we are very much looking forward to.
Oh yeah, another fight I'm looking forward to is Romel Torin, the Razor. So he fights out of Demolition too, and I've seen him fight. He actually, fun fact, is on another team in my bowling league.
Hey,
so he's a man of many sports. So I've seen him throw down in some sparring, especially with Dylan and everybody in that room. Like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of talent on this weekend, and I don't know if there's gonna be one bad fight. There's a lot of talent.
Yeah, it's a pretty stacked card. I'm trying to get it pulled up over here on my end. Clayton, is there any fights that stick out to you that you're most excited to talk about first?
Kev, the same fight that you talked about was the one where I saw that and I was like, oh man, that's barn burner in the making. Should we spill it or should we keep it in the back pocket?
I think we can spill it.
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the Professor Dominic Zender versus RJ El Torito Flores. That's can't miss TV right there, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that is the featured amateur bout, if I remember correctly, or it's near the top. And it should be.
Yep. It's like the co-main event of the amateur card.
Such a wild fight. You have RJ's kind of sprawl and brawl without the sprawl, I guess, would be a great way to summarize RJ's style. And then Dom's a little bit more calculated, and Dom's also a lot taller.
Yeah, a lot longer.
So I'm interested to see how RJ is going to navigate that, because RJ, he's going to come forward no matter what. We saw him put on a great performance against Connor Smith at Dylan's last show over on Mindless Mania. So I'm very interested to see what he's going to bring to the table against Dom.
Yeah, I mean, RJ looked a little more calculated last time, so I'm wondering if he's changing up his style a little bit, and I'm wondering if he's gonna come in there in your face or in your face with a little bit more technicality in his footwork and stuff. So
the West Virginia show, man, that was a wild one.
Yeah, well, every fight on that card was wild, but yes, that one was another good one. And yeah, it will be interesting because we haven't seen RJ in a while. Was West Virginia one probably the last time we've seen him?
Yeah, I think so.
So there is a bit of that element of mystery on our end, as far as like, yeah, he's been in the lab for a while at this point. What will he come out looking like? Because historically, it's been that one speed go, that one direction forward, which in theory, when you have a longer fighter that you're going up against, strategy wise, it's not going to be a bad thing for RJ. He's going to want to be getting underneath Dom's reach anyway. So it'll be interesting to see if it's going to be more calculated. Although I bet, I would just say, no matter what, I'm guessing with these two, with this one being one that will probably go to the distance. In those last couple of minutes, I'm sure we see a little bit of that El Torito just kind of sticking his head down and say, I'm coming forward for the next 30 seconds. These final, the end of those rounds will be very exciting. I will say that. That is definitely, every once in a while you see guys who they hear that final 10 and, nobody really says it, but you can kind of tell both guys are content to just wait till they hear that bell. They're like, all right, cool, I'm almost out of this round. No. That's not what's going to happen in this fight. That bell is going to be an invitation. Say, oh, okay, we really got to go now. It's going to be a great fight. Very exciting. Dom's another guy who has sat with us at ringside, and I was blown away at how well spoken he was, and just how he has earned that nickname of the Professor. I mean,
he's a student of the game, man. Like, I just listening to him behind the scenes, just producing the show, like. Wow, he got a lot of knowledge. Yeah,
and so it will be great. It'll be interesting. And Zach talks here. RJ was more calculated in his last fight. So I think we will see more of that for this one. Yeah, it sounds like that's what we're going to see. And that will be very entertaining, I think. And like you guys mentioned, it's the co-main on the amateur side. So there's one more Ami after that, and then our 3 pro fights. At least that's the card that we've seen. So, those are maybe subject to change a little bit. But, yeah, that's a marquee fight. That's going to be a big one. You definitely will want to have grabbed your refill at the concession stand before the first bell rings on that one.
For sure. But aside from, for those you don't know, it's Greer Promotions.
That's right.
This Saturday at
doors at 5, first bell at 6.
6, yeah.
Let's
it threw me off.
go.
They normally start later, and this one was sooner again. I was like, oh, nice. Let's go.
Yeah, I like that. We like that.
Yep.
Like I've said, guys, working smaller shows like this where we have to move around every weekend, we got to go where the shows are, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's made me appreciate why the UFC does the Apex, because there's a lot of equipment that our viewers might not see. Like every camera needs a couple wires. We have a big PC that we got to set up with 2 monitors and get everything going. So definitely.
In the beginning, it was like 2-3 hours set up and testing, and now we've got it shortened down, but it's at least an hour setup, and that's if we've been there and know where we're setting everything up.
Right.
And depending on who packed the totes away last, kind of, is this stuff where it's supposed to be? And if I'm there, it really doesn't matter because I'm just holding up cables. Like, which one? Can I go set up the commentary desk now, please? Like, I don't know what half these things do.
Yeah. But yeah, fun weekend. If you can't make it out to Fostoria, as always, Carnage Media's got you back. We got the link on our Facebook page, Carnage Media PPV. I've just put the link up in our IG. So if you go to our profile, the link's there. Stay tuned because it's going to be a jam-packed night of awesome fights.
Yeah, I'm just going to pop off a couple of names here, guys, as I'm looking at, because we've got some repeat, some guys we've seen before. I see Hayden Russell's in here. Alex Sosa, we've got Clayton, we've got, I think I saw, Mahmoud Zakari's fighting again early on in this card. I'm loving seeing that. Gabe Callis once again on this card. That's another one we saw. Is he taking on Hayden Jacoby? That's a great fight.
That one,
did I get that one wrong?
No, you had it right. I just heard that one got scratched.
Oh, guys, I'm a jerk. Damn.
Get them their hopes up.
Damn, dude. Well, that's my job. I was supposed to get the hype up, not turn things down. But oh well, that's okay because we'll save it by. How about Raylan Williams versus David Music? That one's not canceled.
That's gonna be a good one.
Right.
Love seeing David get in there. Shout out to the Great Nuke, man. That guy's going places.
Yeah, if you're watching live, guys, and you're sitting in the front row, you might want to bring earplugs for David's fight.
Yeah. Talk about a nice style. He's got footwork and very good technical angles with a lot of power.
And that translates over to MMA perfectly. We saw that wild knockout he had over in Cage Thunder on December 16th. His boxing definitely translates over to his MMA game. Very, very exciting fighter to watch in any discipline that he does.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, so it's gonna be a very good card. I'm excited to get through this thing. It's gonna be phenomenal. So I'm having a hard time. Whoever took this photo took it in the shade, and so like half of it is well lit and the other half is very dark. So I'm having a hard time reading.
Tough look.
Shout out to Zach.
I'm over here like I am very excited. It's just hard to read. I'm over here like, oh yeah, this looks great. I think, but no, it's going to be a phenomenal card. A lot of names that we've had the pleasure of calling before, which is a good time for me to mention that you may not be watching this on our Carnage Media YouTube channel. That's because of the joys of StreamYard. If you would like to do what we do, there's a link in the description that you can use to get a discount on your first month of StreamYard. But more importantly to this conversation, if you want to see some of David Music's old fights, some of RJ's old fights, some of any of these names that we've mentioned before, go to the Carnage Media YouTube channel. We put all of our previous pay-per-views. We get those edited out into their individual fights. We upload those for you for free. So be sure to subscribe there. We are closing in, guys. We are almost at 400 subscribers. We appreciate all of you that have helped us grow this much, this quickly in our short. I mean, we're barely a year old at this point. Yeah. So we're very thankful and appreciative to all of you. But if you want to support these fighters and just get an idea of what you'll be looking at for the Saturday pay-per-view, go check them out there.
Nice. Yeah. So one last thing on this card. Greer Promotions, I believe his name is Ron Greer. We're going to have him as a visitor or a guest for our next Monday podcast. So he's had over 100 AME fights. So he's got a lot of experience and knowledge in this game. So
that'll be good. You know how difficult it is to talk to the promoters. I don't have to tell Wade this, but for those of you at home, promoters have a lot to do the day of the event. You would like to think, right, that you do all your work the 3 months ahead of time and that the day of the event, you just get to sit back and enjoy it, play host, maybe have a drink. No, silly. That 10-hour day flies by for you when you're sitting in the captain's chair. So we look forward to talking with Greer on Monday. That's going to be phenomenal. So look out. Once again, hey, subscribe. That's the best way to be notified 30 minutes before we go live. So all right, I'm done. I'm sorry with the ads, guys. That's why I'm here. You see me on the MLS gig. They're like, hey, we'll do all the talking. You just read the ads. And I'm like, hell yeah, brother. That's what I do.
Yes. So Clayton, we had a UFC fight night.
Yes, we did.
Got any fights that stood out to you?
Yeah, I'll run through some of the bigger ones. In the main event, Imavov, I'm not even going to try his first name. You guys know I can't do Slavic names. But he took the victory over Roman Dolidze. I can't pronounce his name either. But Roman fights out of Extreme Couture with Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis. And Chris Curtis was in his corner. And for those of you who don't know, Imavov had 2 fights last year, got beat by Sean Strickland in his first one, and then had a no contest against Chris Curtis when he poked him in the eye. And Chris Curtis was talking some shit during the fight.
Oh, yeah.
And afterwards, he was yelling at him and stuff. It was entertaining. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, Beam was like, hey, I'm going to disqualify if you don't calm down. Yeah, I was like, oh, man. And his Octagon interview. Man,
that was a good one.
DC didn't even have a chance to ask him a question. He just went off.
That dude was rambling, man. Like, yeah, that was an interesting one for sure.
Those are my favorite. I always get a little nervous. I don't know if this has happened to you too often yet, Clayton, when you get in there for the in-ring interviews, but whenever I see a fighter take the microphone, like, let me hold this for a minute, I'm always like, oh, uh-oh. What are we gonna get here? This is either gonna be really good or really bad.
I had a couple of those moments where the guy's taking the mic and I've been like, oh well, all right, well, it's been fun. I'll see myself out.
Yeah,
I'll see myself out.
Yeah, you can give that the mic on your way out. Yeah, I'm good.
It was funny. There was a lot of F-bombs in that speech, and DC, after he got the mic back and was walking out, he goes, Thank God that it's like ESPN Plus.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. But your boy Drew Dober in the co-main.
Giga Chad got taken down and controlled. There was nothing he could do.
He had a hard time getting up.
Yeah, he did. He figured it out a couple times. He would kind of get his feet on Moicano. I don't know. His hips and try and kick him off, and that worked a couple times, but he just kept getting away with it, or getting away from it, especially in the second round. He kind of struggled with it. I would like to see Giga Chad fight Dustin Poirier next. That's fun as heck. I know Dustin Poirier is booked right now, but I don't care. Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Best finish of the night was definitely Randy Brown. Had a big knockout in the first round. Good to see him get back into the swing of things. He's super fun to watch. Meatball Molly, Patty's best friend, got a submission at 4:59 of round 1. I didn't see it. I was working a BG basketball game, and I had it on my phone, and I was like, all right, well, there's 10 seconds left. I can look up and watch the game again, because the game was in overtime. I looked down at my phone, and Molly's going crazy, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And I saw the replay, and I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. But good to see her get back into the win column.
Yeah,
that's
115 nonetheless, too.
Yeah, that's good for the UK MMA scene. Good for them to have superstars, because that's a great fan base over there.
Yeah,
but the only other fighter that I really wanted to win was Landon Quiones. He ended up losing a UD. He's 0-2 in the UFC now, so if he doesn't start stringing together some wins, he's going to be heading back to the regional scene. So definitely rooting for him. He can bounce back. He's a good fighter. He was Titan FC's lightweight champion for a reason. So he'll figure it out.
For sure. Yeah, there was some good fights on there. I watched a little bit of it. And correct myself, it was Renato that had that Octagon interview, not Imavov.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah,
we dropped the ball there, because in the last one, that was at MSG when he did that. That was that was a good one. But before we move into everyone's favorite segment, the Wrestling Minute, I just want to shout out next week's event real quick. Jack Hermanson versus Joe Bodybags Piper. Big Joe Piper fan. I've watched him since his Contender Series days, so definitely pulling for Bodybags this weekend.
Yep, I'm pulling for him too. I really like him.
Count me in. All three. Lock it in.
Heck yeah. So that leaves us with you, Kev.
Well, gentlemen, it is time for the Wrestling Minute, one of the top 2 podcasts on this network. Thank you very much. Guys, the big news, have you heard it? We've talked about the People's Champ a little bit. I think we talked about it last week. So
Pat McAfee?
Yes, exactly. He is back doing commentary on Monday Night Raw, not Friday Night SmackDown, so to try to balance that awesomeness out, they had Cody Rhodes, the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the inventor who invented war games. You know, everybody who's been a wrestling fan, they know who Dusty Rhodes is, even if they didn't really watch the matches because they weren't born until 30 years after he fought. He's an icon in the business, and his son has worked for the last 2 years as the absolute face. The guy traveling to all. Cody Rhodes is the best. The best comparison I could make is like he's Hulk Hogan right now for WWE. He comes out dressed like the Homelander. All right, he comes out. Everything's red, white, and blue. He's called the American Nightmare. All right, play off of his dad's thing, but he is. To use the old phrasing, he is the white meat baby face, right? He is the clean, say your vitamins, eat your prayers, clean shaven, wears a tie to the ring every day, right? He has been the face of this company, and they have been spending the last 2 years telling a story, because one of the things that happened with Dusty Rhodes was that he never won the WWF title. I think he maybe at one point held it for like 9 days or something weird like that. The big belt that they stole from my daddy in the garden. That's been Cody's story ever since he quit WWE when he got booked as a Goldust 2.0, because that's what his brother was doing. Goldust, for those of you who don't know, Dusty Rhodes' older kid. So his brother was Goldust. He was getting booked like hell. His father passes away. He goes, bets on himself. AEW gets created. You guys know what that is now. Cody, not really happy with the politics there, goes back to WWE. And right now, WrestleMania is in April, gentlemen. So we are 2 months away from the conclusion of this big two-year-long story. Everybody wanted it to happen in the last WrestleMania, by the way. Cody Rhodes lost last WrestleMania. And so the whole idea always was, well, if you didn't give it to him then, it's because, it's WrestleMania 40, it's going to be the big one. They're going to do it. And then one Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gets added to TKO's board. And there's some word of there being some sort of $30 million incentive tied to Dwayne's deal. But wouldn't you know who won the pony, guys? After about a week of being on TKO's board on Friday night, Cody Rhodes, who won the Royal Rumble, mind you, and pointed up to the box where champion Roman Reigns was and said, Roman, I want you. Remember, guys, this is scripted, okay? Wrestling is scripted. So at some point between the Royal Rumble and now, The Rock came in and said, actually, I'll have that spot. Thank you. I'll have that top spot at WrestleMania. I'll be in the championship match. Thank you very much. And the internet has revolted. The IWC, the internet wrestling community, has thrown an absolute shit fit, the likes of which we haven't seen since Dave Bautista came back from Hollywood and did this very same thing, or maybe since The Rock in 2014 when he did it. So the WWE kind of has this thing where, you know, if a big movie star who draws millions of dollars wants to come in and draw in more casual fans to our biggest event, hell yeah, brother, sign me up. We're going to do it. That kind of hurts the feelings of the fans who watch every single week, the ones who are invested in the storylines and are the ones who generated all the money that kind of got you the attention to where, you know, you can pull in these big names. So the question I have for you guys, what would you do if this is your decision? Half the internet hates The Rock. They're saying mean things to his daughter on Twitter because people are just maniacs. They can't compartmentalize anything. So yeah, let's take it out on this guy's daughter. She definitely had something to do with it. So if it were you, would you want to see The Rock, Wade, or would you give your fans what they want? And also shout out to you, Drake. What's up? Thank you, Drake. Sorry, I didn't see this comment before.
Yeah, thank you.
We will I will ask them this question once I get them out of the wrestling minute. So shouts out to Drake Wally. We will answer that here in a minute.
To answer your question real quick, I understand with The Rock, he's just such a big draw. His social media presence and what he can bring to the organization. I understand why they would give it to The Rock. But yeah, you do a whole 2-year story. Why wouldn't you finish that off?
If The Rock was a real businessman, you know, if he was really in it for the long haul, he could just wait a year. He just came back. He's been back for a week. But Clayton, you have no horse in this race. If it were you, would you go with the big draw, the name that everybody knows, whether they like it or not, you know, whether they're a big fan of Black Adam or the Tooth Fairy or not, you know, everybody knows who The Rock is. Would you go that route?
I was actually going to quote the movie Tooth Fairy, or like cite that as my reason for, yeah, I want to see somebody get their teeth knocked out. Give me The Rock.
Oh,
I don't care about your storyline. Give me The Rock.
I love it, dude. If I've had a nickel for every time I saw that exact tweet in the last 2 days, I'd probably taken the day off. I'd be gambling. Yeah. So very interesting. That's the story. Rock versus Cody. We'll see. Now, the one thing that was pretty cool about all of this is they have now announced a free event in Vegas. They're doing a kickoff, an announcement. So I wonder where they got that idea, Clayton. I wonder where the WWE got their idea to do Thursday night press conferences. They must be trading notes with their new UFC cubicle mates there. So there it is, fellas. Thank you all so much for joining me on another installment of the Wrestling Minute. Have no fear, our diehard wrestling fans. I will be back with a solo episode later this week. But we've got to go back to the MMA side of things, gentlemen, because good friend Drake Wally, shout out, Colts content creator. Go check him out if you're into football. Obviously, you know, you guys can tell how I met Drake online. All right. So he says, dudes, thank you for providing this badass content. I will say Drake has been a huge fan from day one. We appreciate that. I'm on the UFC train. How do we feel about the ladies? Nadia Silva looks bad. I think he means that in the good way. And Molly McCann looks like she found her weight class. Thoughts?
Clayton, I'll let you go.
So I guess we'll start with Molly McCann. The recipe to beat Molly McCann for the last couple years has just been take her down and submit her. You know, before this fight, she was on a 2-fight losing streak, and both were submission losses, right? But she comes out, new weight class, cut the weight down to 115, and gets a finish, gets a submission finish. So I think that we will continue to see an improved Molly McCann. Obviously, Patty's a great partner to be drilling submissions with, but it's a little too early to tell, in my opinion. We just need to see her at this weight class more. You know, I think that she potentially could be a wrecking ball down there just because of how big she could probably get in that 36 hours after weigh-in. So she's off to a good start. And fun fact about Natalia Silva, she stuffed 8 takedowns.
Yeah.
Like she did a great job. So she was a name that I wasn't super familiar with until last weekend. And I was very impressed. She walked away with the UD. So I'm thinking that she will continue to rise up the ranks. And she's only 27. Like she's gonna get better. She's like 17-5-1 maybe already. So she's got almost 25 pro fights at the age of 27. So
yeah, she's 17-5-1. Yeah, and she came in like I can't remember what rank she was, like 15 or something like that, or 13. Can't remember. She moved up the ranks because she was fighting somebody ahead of her, and her stand-up game looked phenomenal.
Killer.
She was movement, side to side angles, just tearing and picking apart Vivian. It was an art, and I think she's got some good things ahead of her if she continues to perform in that like that for the rest of her career. She could definitely earn that strap. As far as Molly McCann, I think she found her weight class. I think there's, like you said, a little bit too early. Good things that we saw in that last fight. Like she came in, she was more serious. She realized that this was a big fight that could determine the path of her career, right? She came in very serious, not that loud and rambunctious Molly McCann that you usually get. She was stone cold face, just I'm out here for business. And even in her interview, she was more stone cold, like, yes. And then she's like, I'm gonna get a beer because I've earned this. But yeah, to come back after 2 fights, lost by submission, to come back to get her first submission by armbar there's some good things coming from that, and we got to see how she does against a heavier person in that weight class.
Like a bigger 115.
Yeah, that can take her, has good takedown skills, and see if she can get back up. Other than that, because she definitely looked like the stronger fighter in this fight. So
that's what I kind of agree when just speaking about McCann on the weight class part, because that was something we actually talked with Amin about that a lot in the pre-show, and that was one of those things I forgot to bring back up every once in a while. Guys, if you're ever on our show for an interview, and it couldn't have happened with Amin because we worked together, so there was no way I was going to shut up before stream. But if you guys ever come on for an interview and you notice that I don't talk very much before we go live, it's because I always am worried we're gonna have a really good conversation and then forget to do it live, which is kind of what happened with Amin here with the weight cutting thing. But because it's insane. I say all that just to say what some of these fighters are able to do just with hydration. We're seeing people put on 25 pounds in hydration the night after they make weight. And so with stuff like that, if you can find that right weight class where, again, that's where we were having the conversation with Amin, which I wish I'd remembered to bring this up when he was here so he could talk about like the impact that could have on your fatigue, if you're doing all the different stuff, when it goes into cutting weight like that. But if you can figure it out and you can walk around being that much heavier and that much stronger in your way, I can't see how that's not a big advantage. So that'll be something definitely to look for. And thanks again, Drake. We appreciate the question. And shout out to everybody. Thank you to everybody. It wasn't just the fighters in the community. We had your GOAT from Bite Size Sports, one of our regular chatters. Shout out. Thank you for popping in. And then of course, Drake from the Colts community and Bite Size Vikes, all over the place. We really appreciate you guys for showing up and supporting us here on Monday nights. And
absolutely.
I have one more for you guys. I missed this name when I was skimming the card real quick. Michael the Menace Johnson is fighting this weekend. And wins and losses aside, I would put this dude's resume against anybody's ever.
Oh, yeah.
22 and 19, which at first glance isn't a great record, right? But when you look at the guys this dude has fought, it's kind of wild. He has losses to Habib, Justin Gaethje, Darren the Damage Elkins, Josh Emmett, who just had that crazy knockout against Bryce Mitchell, Clay Guida, Nate Diaz, Beneil Dariush, and those are just some of the losses that he's had. But some of the wins that he has had, he has victories over Edson Barbosa, Melvin Gillard, Gleason Tebow, Joe Lozon, who was like the Cowboy Cerrone before Cowboy Cerrone was a thing. One Tony Ferguson has a victory over Tony Ferguson and a knockout victory over Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
Yeah. I was just about to say that one. Yep.
Yeah. In other words, this guy could beat Brock Lesnar on his best day, but lose to Kev on his worst day. So.
Yeah, I was saying lose to what was that guy? Mike Jackson? Who's the CM Punk guy?
Yeah. But if you want to look at a dude that's had like the wildest of ups and downs in his career, it's Michael Johnson.
Oh yeah. And it's no walk in the park. You may see that 22 and 19 and then okay. Yeah, I could come in here and easily work. No, it's gonna be a day at the office. Man. He can scrap. So
all right. But gentlemen, I think that concludes another episode.
I think
Kev,
so.
we'll go ahead and start with you. Where can the fans find you?
Ooh, well, thank you very much, Clayton. You guys, of course, can find me right here. For now, we are still on Monday nights at 8. We'll probably be moving here soon. We will keep you updated. But again, Wrestling Minute, I don't have a regularly scheduled night for the solo versions of the Wrestling Minute, but keep that. We've got our own little playlist for that now. So if you don't catch us live on Monday nights, you can still catch that segment and any of the other stuff I'm able to record. Ooh, we're going to throw one out because we got another question here from Drake, and I know that we are not going to pass up a chance to talk about Barbarina, okay?
Yeah.
Friend of the show. Well, I should say friend of Clayton. Clayton brought him onto the show, which was phenomenal. So, guys, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. That was a great time we got to spend with him. So let me read this one out to you guys. Anyone else pumped for Barbarina v. Mearschart? Gerald is a challenge, but Bam Bam has the wildness to push Gerald if he stays on the feet.
Brian kicks the shit out of Gerald Mearschart. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. Gerald's chin is made out of paper, so I think that if Brian gets a hold on him, and granted, Gerald's a very accomplished wrestler. Like, I'm not gonna try and take that away from him. I don't think he has the most finishes, but I think he definitely has the most submissions in the history of the middleweight division. But if Brian can punch, man, like we watched Hamzat flatten Mearschart, and that was on like 10 days notice or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
After fighting the previous week. So I think that if Brian touches his chin, it's over.
I'm gonna have to second that. You've said everything that I don't need to reiterate because I'm on the Barbarina train.
Yeah, we went over this earlier. It's hard for me to pick against the guys, especially the ones that we know. I'm like, oh, no way. Especially if I'm not getting paid to be neutral. No dice, boys.
No.
I'm just
I don't care if Brian's fighting King Kong. I'm in his corner all the way.
He says, God, I hope so. Moneyline, Bam Bam. Love that. Hell, KO him in round 2. Let's go.
Yeah. Yes.
Sign me up, boys. So, yeah, as I was saying, you can find me on you can find me tomorrow night on Bite Size Sports for our Super Bowl preview. We're going to have damn near the whole Bite Size team on that to preview the Super Bowl one last time before we get into the offseason on Necessary Roughness. And, of course, on Thursdays, we've got the NBA show, The Bounce. You can also find me on Tuesdays and Sundays on the Clout Route. So If you like hear me talk about sports, you might want to hear me and a fellow bald riff on the stupid things people do to try to grift other people on the internet. It's a really fun show. Come hang out with us on the Clout Route. And then, of course, Star Wars fans, I'll see you Wednesday at 9 on Bite Size Sports' sister station, Dweeb with 2 Ds. And then one of those nights, I think I have to sleep. So I'm off that other night. But I really look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. Greer Promotions, Fostoria. Wade, what about you? Where can they find you, good sir?
Absolutely. You can find me. Hey, thank you, Drake. Appreciate you for supporting. You can find me at Carnage Media PPV on all socials and follow what we got going on next. As you said, Greer Promotions this Saturday. We got a whole schedule that we put up. Give us a like and follow, and you can stay up tuned with the regional and local MMA scene around here that we cover. That's all I got. Clayton, what you got?
Make sure that you guys follow me on Instagram and Twitter at cscalina12. And you can tune into my show, the Hot Take Sports Podcast. We release every Wednesday. So make sure to give us a follow on all our socials at Hot Take Sports 16. And of course, make sure to follow us at Carnage Media Pay-Per-View once again. Just make sure to follow us. You guys aren't going to want to miss some of the cards that we have coming up.
That's true. It's damn true. Andy says, see you guys Saturday. Damn, I missed the show. Have no fear, Andy, because Kev the Pitchman is here to let you know that you can just go to Carnage Media or Bite Size Sports' YouTube channel where we have all the VODs, every live show. So if you guys ever miss us live, or if you come in and we're saying our goodbyes, just go ahead and follow them there. Follow us there. So we will see you all on Saturday. But of course, I would be remiss. You had to listen to me and all my ads. So unfortunately, the prize isn't great, guys. You're getting one more ad on the way out. But we love you. We will see you all next week. All right. Sports. Are you looking for an energy boost without the jitters? Let our friends at W Energy help you with their fantastic selection of flavors. Just visit www.w.gg and use the code BITESIZESPORTS at checkout for 10% off your order total. Again, that is www.dubby.gg. Code BITESIZESPORTS.